the governor should resign. People are dead. Homes have burned. It is not your first rodeo. It is not. And when you know that you have a state that is prone to fire, and I'm going to give it to you, you've got global warming. You have literally a tinderbox. Isn't this the part where you take the highest income tax, highest sales tax, highest gas tax, and rebuild the infrastructure? I'm sorry. And the reason for me this is super serious is because this guy wants to be your president. This now goes from a California problem to a countrywide problem. Like, I get it. He's got good hair. We've got much bigger problems, okay?
I agree. Newsom should resign. She's entirely right about that. It's catastrophical. What has he been doing? Let's look at the interview.
Businesswoman and nutritionist Jillian Michaels joins me now. They've erased the American dream.
Oh, absolutely. But it's been happening for a long time now. That's the part that outrages me is, oh, this is unprecedented. No, it's not unprecedented. I was just speaking to somebody backstage and she's like, well, in my fire, and I was like, oh, well, in mine, I mean, California burns down every single year.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're going to do better next time? That woman in tears saying to the governor, is it going to be different next time? Oh, it has to be. It needed to be different this time, Gavin. And there's simply no excuse. I really don't even believe you can blame it on incompetence because there's already a mandate. For example, in 2014,
she's right.
Proposition 1 passed that put billions of dollars towards building new reservoirs. That's already in place. Not one has been built. There have been calls for controlled burns for decades. We did them.
There's probably some corruption behind this. They probably stole the money, honestly, and did nothing with it for the people.
Historically, throughout my entire childhood and young adult life in California, and now we've stopped because I'm not even quite sure. It could be the cost, I've heard. It could be environmental pressures. It could be both. But let's look at the cost of this now. How much does it cost now? What is the environmental cost now as all of this pollution will run off into the ocean, as all of these animals and wildlife are dying, and as all of the CO2 has been released into the atmosphere?
That's such a great point.
That's such a great point. All of the past year environmental efforts for nothing. Everything burned to the ground.
Boy, I mean, you've destroyed the natural habitat of all of these animals. You have record high inflation. To rebuild these homes is going to cost 5 times as much as it would.
Disaster.
Not only have they not built a reservoir, they emptied the reservoir right next to the Palisades.
The fire hydrants were broken. The current reservoir was empty. No new reservoirs have been built. The list here goes on and on and on. Apparently, we sent fire equipment to Ukraine in 2022. Firefighters were fired for not getting the jab. It's like, well, do you want to burn in a fire, or what if you catch COVID from your firefighter? The absurdities never stop stacking up.
And Gavin Newsom is saying that there's disinformation that he needs to fight.
Gavin Newsom, honestly, is incompetent. He's a fraud. He's a tool. He's useless. And he shouldn't have been elected in the first place, honestly.
What is that? Is there actually water in the hydrants? What have we gotten wrong?
Well, the best part is he'll just instruct the legacy media outside of Fox, thank God, to censor everybody who says so. So we can all just expect that to occur. I mean, maybe you saw Mark Zuckerberg talking about how the Biden administration forced him to censor people during COVID. I mean, disinformation. We've all seen those clips of Jamie Raskin and Hillary Clinton saying that maybe people need to.
All these elite, all of these people in power, they just don't want to take any kind of accountability, any kind of responsibility. It's sad, honestly, sad.
To be criminally prosecuted for disinformation. So I'm sure that might be coming now.
Well, there will be some prosecutions. I don't think it's going to be the way Gavin Newsom thinks it's going to be. Well, I'm glad to see you in person for the first time.
He used his best game show voice, didn't he? Joining us now, host of the Keeping It Real podcast, Jillian Michaels, who lost a home in a wildfire in 2018. You sold a home in 2021, and that one just burned down. You have family.
Your reporter was standing right actually in front of my house. I could see the rubble in the back that I sold in 2021.
And you have family who is in Los Angeles right now.
I currently evacuated my mother, my gosh, I'm losing track of time, 2 days ago, and my wife stayed with her. My wife and her have moved twice because fires are cropping up all over Los Angeles. They're evacuating people, and there's complete gridlock. Nobody is directing traffic, so it's understandable you need to take the power down should a power line go down, but you don't have anybody in the streets.
Yeah, it's very, very sad to see what's happening. I hope everybody stays safe, honestly.
Guiding traffic. That's why you're seeing bulldozers moving through cars that have been left in the road like it's the Walking Dead. As people are running on foot from the fires, it's absolute madness. And I've seen that clip of that mother, and she says to the governor, will it be different next time? And he says, it has to be. Next time. This just happened 4 months ago. All of northern Malibu just burned down 4 months ago. It happened in 2018 when I lost my house. And not only was it not different, PG&E, who was responsible for the fire that burned down my house with equipment that was over 100 years old, was not only not held accountable, he completely let them off the hook, and they weren't forced to update the infrastructure. The fire hydrants are broken. The reservoirs ran dry. Well, guess what? In 2014, Californians voted on Proposition 1 to put billions toward building new reservoirs. Not one is complete 10 years later.
Yeah, it's sad to see. It's probably way too late now, unfortunately. What's gonna happen? Where is the water? There's water in the ocean, there's water in the north. Where is the water?
Talk about forestry. I grew up in California. There were regular controlled burns. You would get notices from the city that you had to do brush cleanup and your home was going to be inspected. This all stopped before Newsom, to be fair. But if we're going to, I'm going to go full-blown devil's advocate on you. California is prone to fire. Bad Santa Ana winds. We know this. Let's go with global warming. Perfect. Since you know the place is a tinderbox, why are you not doing the work?
Prepare.
Prepare.
Okay, you can blame it on the wind, you can blame it on the climate change, okay. But now that you know that there's a problem with climate change, you should definitely do something about it. This is just not negligence. This is not just incompetence. Honestly, it's complete sabotage, if you ask me.
My God!
It's arid. It's dry.
Do control burns.
Winds. Exactly.
The anger in your voice is visceral. It's palpable. How widespread? Because I think there's still the shock and the grieving going on. How widespread is the anger at this point already?
I'm seeing many of my peers speaking out. You're seeing Dr. Drew Pinsky rage on Dave Rubin. You're seeing Adam Carolla go crazy. Whitney Cummings is furious. She just posted something on X, and she was like, I was waiting for a fact check, and it has to do with the fact that California donated fire equipment to Ukraine in 2022. And I'm sorry, you have to laugh because it's so absolutely maddening. How is this possible? In addition, you've got the governor who just cut $17 million from the fire department. Now, in all fairness...
The mayor, right?
I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize. The mayor. And in all fairness, it's like an $800 million budget, but it's one you need to be increasing, not decreasing. And when you've lost tens of billions of dollars towards the homelessness crisis that you can't account for, and homelessness has gone up 30% in California since you began losing these billions of dollars, maybe, knowing that the state burns down every freaking year, you could have put some of that money towards infrastructure.
I've heard people...
I agree. I think she's 100% right about this. I think Newsom is a fraud. I think he should resign. I think he did nothing to protect California from this fire. And he's just a crooked politician, honestly. Hopefully, someone better will take his place. We will see and report it all right there. Thanks for watching, staying with me. Click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Bye-bye.